Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're just meeting me for the first time, hi, my name's Ebony and this channel is here to help you reconnect to your intuition so that you can manifest in the real world. Today I'd love to share with you my collection of Tarot, Oracle, Lenormand, Affirmation and fortune telling decks. As I've mentioned time and time again, I love card reading and Tarot especially has helped me so much. I love every single one of these decks that I'm going to share with you today and I rotate through them regularly, using them for myself and for others. I'd love to share general readings or pick a card videos on this channel, so let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that. But for now, I love doing personalized readings, so if that's something you'd like to learn more about, I'll have a link in the description below. Also, if you're curious how I like to do my tarot readings, you can get a good idea through my weekly newsletter. Every Monday, I send out a free weekly newsletter with a free charm tarot reading, including a voice recording so that you can listen to it at the start of your day. I love sending these out each week and I'd love to share them with you. So feel free to join my newsletter through my website. I'll have it linked in the description below. I'm going to break today's video into parts and I'll have a list of all the different decks in the description with time codes for you, just to make it easier to flick through if there's any particular decks that you're curious to learn more about. Though you never know what might stand out for you, so I definitely encourage you to watch the whole thing. Aside from being divided into categories, I'll show you the decks in no particular order. My favorites always change and I love them all, so it's just going to be in whatever order I pick them out of the pile. Basically, I'll try to keep this as short and sweet as possible, so if there are any decks that you'd like to see more of or even see a whole review on, definitely let me know in the comments below. I can do full-length reviews in the future if you'd like as well. I'll also have a link to today's blog post in the description where you'll find a detailed list with a little bit more information on my thoughts on each deck. If you're like me and slightly obsessed with card reading and collecting card decks, then maybe today's blog post might be a good one to bookmark. All right, get yourself a cuppa and we'll get started. So I'd like to kick things off with Lenormand cards, in particular this deck here, Ur-Lenormand. This deck is a reprint of the original cards from 1799, originally known as the Game of Hope. Anyone interested in the cards, Lenormand and history will love this deck. It even includes instructions on how to play the Game of Hope, though I have yet to play it. Yet beyond using the cards as a game, the symbols on these cards also became known for fortune telling too. In comparison to Tarot, Lenormand is much more direct, and I've always found this deck to be very accurate. I can talk more in depth about what Lenormand is in a future video. Definitely let me know if you have any questions. I really love the artwork and the simplicity of these cards in terms of how they look. They're certainly not always that simple to read. But Lenormand has a very direct voice, which is really great sometimes. So you can see they've got the old school playing game or something, like that's one game I believe, or one way you can use the cards, that symbol or that section there. And then that's more the traditional playing cards. So you can use them as just regular playing cards as well, see there. But then this is the symbol that has become known as the Lenormand system. So the symbols all mean certain things, basically. So any Lenormand deck that's based on this is going to be very similar in terms of the symbols that are presented. But yeah, these are really beautiful cards and I love that they're based on the original. It's very cool. I won't go through all of them because otherwise this video will be way too long. But like I said at the beginning, if you see any card decks here that you'd like to see more of, definitely let me know and I'd be happy to do a full-length review on any of these decks as well. This is actually a cute little guidebook because it actually tells you about the history of Lenormand and the Game of Hope a little bit. So there you go, there's the instructions for the Game of Hope. So that's kind of cool. Have to play it sometime. Definitely recommend them if you're wanting to learn Lenormand. They're a great beginner's deck as well. This is my second Lenormand deck that I wanted to show today. And this one's called the Celtic Lenormand. I actually have a little Etsy purchase here of this bag. I've got a few of these bags. I absolutely adore them. They're so cute. So instead of taking it in this biggish box, this sort of just makes it easier. I will link the Etsy store where I bought these bags below as well. So these have the same symbols as the Ur-Lenormand, but obviously with a Celtic sort of spin. And the illustrations are really pretty as well. There's a few extras in this deck, so there's 2 women and 2 men symbols, and there's multiple birds, I believe. I think there's 2 snakes as well. These obviously aren't in order because I use them, but again, it's very similar though. That's child. I think there's 2 children. Yeah, actually they're side by side randomly. So there's a few extras in this deck, but I quite like that, to have that variety as well. The guidebook for this is quite hefty as well. It's got lots of information, which is really, really helpful, and spell use. So they have a little bit of a Celtic folklore spin to them. It's a pagan themed deck. There you go. So yeah, I definitely recommend this deck. It's a good size as well. Oh, and there's a cat as well in this one. There's a dog and a cat. A cat isn't normally in Lenormand. So yeah, I really love this deck. I find that I gravitate towards this one fairly often actually. Like there's just a few cards that I really, really love in this that are just so beautifully themed for Lenormand. There's the cat. But yeah, I'll have to do another video on Lenormand. Because I love Lenormand. I love reading Lenormand. There's still a lot to learn about it, but I love it. So yeah, that's the Celtic Lenormand. This next deck is Pixie's Astounding Lenormand. So my 3rd and final Lenormand deck. And it's in this cute little tin, and they are really little cards. Not that much littler, but little enough to fit in this tiny tin. And they're really cute on the back too. And this guidebook's also quite good considering how small it is. Love a good guidebook. Helps a lot, especially if you're learning still. So these ones again have the similar symbols as the traditional Lenormand. Also, these ones have the actual name of the card as well, which is helpful sometimes. It's fairly easy to figure out anyway, but I quite like that touch. So this deck is awesome, not only because it's so cute and tiny, but also because the artwork is inspired by the artwork of Pamela Coleman Smith, or Pixie as she was known, who was the original artist of the Rider-Waite Smith Tarot. So for each card description in the guidebook, there's a section titled Image Origins, which discusses where the different images are drawn from. So it definitely feels like the images very much remind me of tarot. So it's a good one if you're coming from tarot. This is a good deck because it's sort of already slightly more familiar. So that's Pixie's Astounding Lenormand. So now on to Oracle cards. So this is Annie Tarasova's Cosmic Guidance. So DreamyMoons it's the same company, same brand as the Year of Growth book and 2021 planner that I reviewed 2 weeks ago. So check that review out if you love this artwork. You might want to check that review out, or go to her website. She's got some beautiful artwork and so many amazing things there. So the guidebook in this one's really lovely. And there's an affirmation for each card as well. So it's a beautiful, beautiful guidebook to go with it. But you really want to see the cards, let's be real. There's the back of the cards. I open myself to guidance from the universe. And they've got a beautiful silver border as well. So lovely, the silver throughout. Gorgeous. So that is the Cosmic Guidance Oracle by Annie Tarasova. So the next Oracle deck I wanted to show you was this one, the Australian Wildflower Reading Cards by Sherilyn Darcy. They've got beautiful, vivid colours, these. I really love them. Let's have a looky through them. So these are really lovely because you learn about a flower at the same time you get one word to kind of focus on. So each flower has a meaning to it, and as you read in the guidebook, kind of delves into what the meaning is, but it also tells you a little bit about the flower itself, which is really beautiful. So that's the Australian Wildflower reading cards by Sherilyn Darcy. Absolutely beautiful, definitely recommend. Like all of these really. So this next one's the Celtic Tree Oracle. So this one has a good guidebook as well with plenty of information, which is really lovely. So this one actually gives you a little bit of information on the Celtic Tree divination system and birth trees and how to read with the cards, with lots of spreads and things like that as well. When I first bought them, I did a spread that was just immediately just got me. So this one also goes into the Celtic Tree divination system and shows you all the ohms, which is really cool. So you can see for every card it actually tells you lots of information as well as how to read it, which is really cool. Very, very detailed, this guidebook. I love the back as well for these. Very simple with just the symbol in the center, and then the cards themselves are super detailed and just absolutely beautiful. So it's a really, really nice way to learn about ohms as well. So that is the Celtic Tree Oracle. So this next one I've shown on this channel before when I did a review of my 3 Oracle decks earlier in the year. As you can see, I've grown the collection since then quite a lot, but I do use them a lot. This is a Yogic Path by Sahara Rose with illustrations by Danielle Knoll. So this actually comes in this amazing box, which is just absolutely gorgeous. I won't go too in depth because, like I said, I've got that other video that you can see for this and 2 other decks that I'll show you briefly today. So definitely go check out that video if you're interested in this one and the other 2 decks that I will show very soon. So this is the guidebook that comes with this one. So this one has a full color guidebook, which honestly is rare. Often guidebooks are just all black and white inside. So this is just, I mean, it's a beautiful book, even just on its own, teaching you about the different aspects of a yogic path. So that is a yogic path by Sahara Rose. So this next one is one of my newest. It is the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. So I haven't really had a chance to use this one much, but I'm really, really excited to get using it. Really excited. Look at the dolphin. It's so pretty. I love the back as well. I didn't actually realize how pretty the back was going to be. I love mandalas, in case you don't know. love turtles. So true. They give you the animal and then a very simple one line, so you don't necessarily need the guidebook as much, but obviously if you want to go more in depth, the guidebook's very helpful as well. I have to use them more, I'm so excited. So I love the box these come in as well, side note. Like the colours, it is really pretty. And very hefty and detailed guidebook. Which is always helpful when you get a new deck. I love having the guidebook for a new deck. So that is Colette Baron-Reid's The Spirit Animal Oracle. Absolutely gorgeous. So next up we have the Starseed Oracle, which is by Rebecca Campbell and illustrated by Danielle Knoll as well. The same illustrator as A Yogic Path. So this one I also featured in that initial Oracle card review that I did many weeks ago now. So I'll have that linked down below as well. I love this deck still. So first of all, the backs are so pretty. So this has a very pastel color palette and very collage based pictures similar to A Yogic Path with a starseed theme. And I love that these also have a little bit of text at the bottom. So you can really read these a lot more intuitively compared to some other Oracle decks. But that being said, I love the messages in the guidebook and find a lot of value from reading their meanings in the guidebook as well. So if you want to see this deck a little bit more, I go through it a bit more in depth in that video from a few months ago now. So that is the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell and Danielle Knoll. The next Oracle deck I wanted to share is the Moonology Oracle cards by Yasmin Bolland with artwork by Nyx Rowan. This is the third and final deck that I featured in my Oracle reviews video, so you can find out more about this deck in that video as well. Again, beautiful guidebook. And these are fabulous, especially I love doing these on like a full new moon especially. So there's the back of them. And again, they give you a line at the bottom and the corresponding moon phase. So these are a great way to learn a little bit more about moon phases as well. So I really love these. Definitely still an absolute favourite. So those are the Moonology Oracle cards. Definitely love them. And last but not least for Oracle cards, I have the Keepers of the Light Oracle cards by Kyle Gray with artwork by Lily Moses. These are fabulous. I love them. So these have the guidebook as well, of course. And there's the back, which is really cool. And again, aside from telling you who the image is of, it also has some text to read as well and draw inspiration and guidance from. And then on top of that, of course, the guidebook goes into a lot more detail. And these are always beautiful to work with as well. I particularly like drawing, I particularly like drawing one of them and using it alongside a tarot reading or other cards. But you can as well do multiple cards at a time quite easily. So as it says here, the Keepers of the Light are a powerful congregation of enlightened souls who are dedicated to the peace, healing and nurturing of the world. So it's different spiritual deities and higher beings and ascended masters. So those were the Keepers of the Light Oracle cards by Kyle Gray. So this next category is for a couple of decks that don't entirely fit anywhere else. They're similar to Lenormand in a way, yet branch off into their own thing. The first from this category is the Vera, Sibilla, Italiana, or the Everyday Oracle. So these are quite similar to Lenormand in a way because they've got the different symbols. So the cards themselves are in Italian at the bottom, and they also follow the Italian playing card translation. So I definitely need the guidebook still to sometimes figure out, the names so that I can check the meanings. But for the most part, I just read it intuitively. But this is Sibilla, which is its own category in and of itself, really. And I haven't really delved too deeply into these, but the few readings I've done with them have been really accurate. And it's a very direct voice, to say the least. It's really quite abrupt with its tellings. I need to use them a little bit more and get to know them a little bit better, but they are really interesting. So it is a different category again, and I'd have to explain it a lot better than I just did, but I'm still getting to know this category of cards. So until I feel more confident with it myself, I will probably wait on making a video about it. But I really do enjoy using these cards, and it's interesting to learn. So that is the Vera, Sibilla, Italiana, Everyday Oracle. Yeah. Follow your heart. That's quite lovely. So this next deck is Madame Endora's Fortune cards. So these are a bit of fun. I really, really enjoy using these. So they are sort of like gypsy fortune telling cards. So these are really fun to use. They're supposed to be more prediction based, I guess. They give you some pretty direct guidance, and the guidebook I'll show you in a second sort of is a book in and of itself. You have to buy it separately, and it gives a lot of information about all kinds of things. I'll show you that in a second. But yeah, these are really cool. I really enjoy using these. These kind of need their own review actually, because they're a little bit different from everything else. There's sort of an oracle deck in a way, but then they've also got that fortune telling, divination style. Yeah, these are pretty cool. I really enjoy using those. And the guidebook I had to get separately because it's actually sort of a book in its own right. It does go with the cards. You kind of need the cards really for it to totally make sense. But it actually goes into heaps of information about all kinds of things. So it gives you all the different card meanings and a little section on about actually how to read the cards, how they're intended to be read by the creator. And then it also goes through all of these different aspects in quite a lot of detail, really, considering how much it covers. So it's got the signs of the zodiac, the mystic runes, divination by dreams, the I Ching, angels and demons, mystical alphabets, casting bones even in here, different spells, and the art of alchemy, candle magic, the art of pendulum divination. So it's even got pendulums in here. It's really, there's quite a lot of information, which is really cool. The Chinese zodiac. So it's got, half the book is really in depth about all these different things that honestly I'm interested in. So I felt like the guidebook was very much worth getting for me personally. I definitely think you don't need this for the cards themselves, but if you really want that extra information and really want to be able to get the most out of the cards, I think the guidebook would be worth it, really. But the cards in and of themselves are, they come with a little guidebook. Here it is. They come with a little guidebook, so you don't necessarily need any more information. You can even just read them intuitively and not have this at all. So that is Madame Endora's fortune cards and the Book of Fortunes that goes with it. So this next deck, I actually can't remember where I put the box, but the box was kind of falling apart. So I brought this little bag, the same as the Celtic Lenormand bag I showed earlier, same place on Etsy. So this is where I keep my original tarot deck, the deck that started it all many years ago. So this is the Universal Tarot. It is based on the Rider-Waite Smith traditional tarot system with gold embellishments. It's got a few differences compared to the original Rider-Waite Smith, but it's very, very similar. It's just got the gold embellishments and the black and gold border. This is still my absolute favorite and go-to always. I think because of that, the fact that I've had it for so long, I feel very connected to this deck. And I still use this one the most out of all my tarot decks. Like I said, I think it's got that sentimental value, to be honest. It'll always be near and dear to my heart. Simply because it is the original deck that I got many, many years ago. And it's beautiful too. Like, I love gold everything, so the fact that it's like a black and gold theme, it's just still gets me. So I've definitely shown off this deck a lot in my videos before, but if you do want to see more of it, I can make a separate video if you like, or I can take some photos of it as well to put on the blog. And on my weekly newsletter reading, I probably use this the most for the readings on there. So that is the Golden Universal Tarot deck. This next deck is the Pamela Colman Smith commemorative set. So it's based on the original Smith-Waite Tarot, and it's supposed to be the most accurate representation of how the deck was intended to look, or how it originally looked when it was first released. So this is really cool because it actually comes with artwork by Pamela Colman Smith. There she is. It has lots of different artwork by her. So it has postcards, and that's where the deck was. And it came with a little drawstring bag, but I actually purchased a little Etsy bag for these as well. So this is the bag that I use for them. Let me show you what they look like. That's the back of them. And I really like the colors in this because some tarot decks are really like a little bit too saturated, I feel. Whereas these have a really good level of color, I think. I think it'd be worth doing a review on this collection because it comes with 2 books. It has the pictorial key to the tarot, the original key to the tarot written by Waite. So the original meanings for the cards. So they're a little bit outdated at times, but it's kind of cool to see. I think if you're interested in like the history of tarot, you'd really love this collection. I use these probably almost as much as the original cards I have now, I think. When I want that traditional Rider-Waite Smith tarot, these are a good go-to for sure. So let me know if you want to see in detail everything that comes with the commemorative set, along with the cards themselves, which I absolutely adore and would have brought separately, but it was worth getting the set, I believe, because you also get a little biography of Pamela Colman Smith, so a little bit about her story and her artwork, a little bit of history on the original artist of tarot. So that's the artwork and times of Pamela Colman Smith, and you also get the pictorial key to the tarot, the original meanings by Arthur Edward Waite. So this is kind of interesting. It's a little bit outdated, very wordy, very much a sign of its times, but it's good to have that because that's how he originally read the tarot. So it's kind of interesting little piece of history for tarot there, which is really interesting. And it also has lots of artwork as well. These postcards. So I won't go into too much detail there because, like I said, this video is probably already really long. But if you do want to see a full review of the commemorative set, definitely let me know in the comments below, and I'd be happy to go through the whole thing for you. So yeah, it's really great to have, I think. Anyone that's interested in more of the history side of tarot might be interested in seeing that a little bit more in depth. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. So that is the Pamela Colman Smith commemorative set with these tarot cards included. So the next tarot deck I want to share with you, I just keep in this little pouch because the box didn't actually come with a case. Oh, it's like the box is kind of plasticky, so I preferred to keep them in that little pouch. But this, just realized I didn't actually say, this is the Everyday Tarot by Bridget Esselmont. So she is the author of Biddy Tarot, and that's an awesome website. If you're ever looking up tarot meanings online, I definitely recommend Biddy Tarot to check out the meanings. And I love the simplicity of these cards. They're just simply this cream color, gold and purple, and just sort of block illustrations. So they're based on the Rider-Waite Smith, so the symbols and the general outline is very much similar. And they're just a cute little sort of palm-sized-ish, whoops, just a backfire. It's okay, they're okay. So they are a good size for like traveling, that kind of thing. They're a good one to have sort of in my bag if I want to, just in case I feel the need to draw a card or two out and about. So they are a really good size, and I really love the design of them. They're really pretty. I love purple and gold, so I'm all about that. Like this, the cups are like mermaids and mermen, which is kind of quirky. So there's a few differences in them. The world card's really cool. I really like these. I think they're beautiful. Simple and beautiful. Sometimes you just don't need it to be overcomplicated with lots and lots of imagery. These have more than enough. They still have all the meaning of the traditional tarot, but they're a little bit more simplistically drawn and displayed. So this is the Everyday Tarot by Bridget Esselmont. So the next tarot deck is my newest of the tarot decks. It's the Light Seers Tarot. I've eyed this off for ages, and I'm so stoked to have it myself now. So this is kind of a modern take on tarot. So there's a little bit of artistic license that has gone into creating these cards. The guidebook is really quite hefty. I always say that about guidebooks. Ooh, it's quite hefty. I absolutely love the back of the cards. This beautiful design. It's like black and green. It's beautifully done. So this is structured the exact same way as the regular Rider-Waite Smith tarot system. However, the artist has drawn them quite differently. They've got a bit of a modern spin. The colours are really beautiful. I love the colours. They're really, really colourful. And I find that the images are really, really quite easy to connect with because they are sort of based in the modern time. It's really easy to connect with, I find, so far. Like, it's just, they really, really connect with me more than I thought they would, because I love my traditional, Smith tarot, but I absolutely love the illustrations in this. They are just so, so cool. Like, doesn't that just make you feel so joyous? So they're called Light Seer, but it's all about the shadow as well, the shadow self, which is really interesting. So the upright and reversal is termed the Light Seer and the Shadow Seer, which is kind of cool. So I really like the concept of these cards. They're really cool. When I've got a little bit more time and I'm not just flying through all these decks, I'll have to review this deck because I really love the concept behind it. It's a very unique take on tarot while still being somewhat sort of traditional based, you know, King of Swords. Obviously this doesn't look anything like the King of Swords traditionally, but there's definitely, you know, crossover, and you can still read it the same way. It's just that there's a little bit more difference in how you can interpret it and how you can intuitively read it. You might get a little bit of a different meaning, but that just gives the deck its own unique sort of spin, which is really beautiful. So yeah, definitely, I think because they're the newest deck as well, I am really excited to use them a lot more. I've already used them so much since I got them, which says a lot because I still absolutely love, like I say, for every deck that I've shown you today, I love every single deck. And I think every single deck has its time to shine. I definitely don't have any favorites, but because this is the newest, I am really, really excited to have a bit more fun with it and learn from it a lot more too. So you can see there definitely is similarities with the Rider-Waite-Smith, but it's just that little bit different. It's got its own unique spin. And I think because I haven't really used a deck like this before, I've only ever had the Rider-Waite-Smith style tarot decks. I think that's also why I'm kind of excited, just to mix it up a little bit. And that's partly why I love having different decks, is because then, you know, when you're reading tarot cards and or all of these cards, when you're drawing cards all the time, I love mixing it up. Probably a typical Gemini thing. I need to have variety. I need to mix things up a little bit. And I love combining different cards because you just get so many different voices and you can really try to get a bigger picture on the subject or the question that you're wanting guidance on. So yeah, I love this deck so much. So that is Chris Ann's The Light Seers Tarot. Definitely recommend. So far it's been so on point. And I only just brought it, so that's a good sign. Definitely a good sign. So definitely 10 out of 10 recommend this. So this next deck, Medicine Woman Tarot by Carol Bridges, I actually do have a full review on, so I'll only very quickly show you this one. So if you do want to see this one more in depth, definitely check out that review. I did a full walkthrough of every card in the deck in that video, so definitely if you're interested in this one, check out that video. It's kind of fun when you can just refer people to other videos you've already done. It's kind of a sign that I've been doing this a little while, just kind of exciting. So like I show in that as well, I love that it comes with these two little cards at the start, which kind of I always read before I draw from this deck because it really gets you in the right frame of mind for the deck. So this is a themed deck as well, similar to Light Seers, but this one is different in that she changes the name of the suits and so on. So it's stones instead of pentacles. I'll just quickly show you these cards, and this one has a guidebook sold separately as well. So that's just worth noting. You don't need the guidebook, but like the Madame Fortunes, it has a lot more in it than just the simple meanings, and it goes into a lot more detail in general. So I definitely think the guidebook is really worth getting alongside the cards, but it's not 100% necessary by any means. And again, you can just read them purely intuitively. You don't need any guidebook at all. But when it comes to this, I love her guidance in the guidebook that she offers. It just brings so much to light, and it's so beautiful. You know, it's always a message I need to hear. So I love sharing this on the weekly newsletter as well, because every message in this deck is just so beautiful. So yeah, it's definitely very much its own kind of thing. It's called the Medicine Woman Tarot, but it's quite different to regular tarot. I mean, there's similarities. I talk a little bit about that in the review. But yeah, definitely check out the review if you want to see more of this one. It's gorgeous and I really do love it. And when I'm in the mood for something really with a sort of caring vibe, you know, I find that this deck is what I gravitate to. If I'm feeling really tired and a bit overwhelmed, I will always gravitate towards the Medicine Woman Tarot because it just has such a gentle, welcoming, beautiful voice to it. Ended on that card. And I also brought a little Etsy bag for this deck as well. I just love these little bags because this box is very similar to other boxes I've had that have ended up quite with a lot of wear and tear. So you can already see there's a little bit of wear and tear on this box. But generally speaking, I don't use the box now that I've got this beautiful little bag, which has the right kind of vibe I feel for this deck as well. It's like pink with gold. Definitely check out this Etsy store, especially if you're in Australia. I'm not sure if she sells overseas. She probably does. And yeah, so definitely go ahead and check out the full review for the Medicine Woman Tarot if you want to see that a lot more in depth. The last card deck that I have to share with you today is the Illuminated playing cards. So this is kind of its own thing in and of itself. So you can use it for tarot or you can use it to play any card game, I believe. Not that I have yet. I've only ever used it for tarot, but I believe you can do pretty much any regular card game with these. And it's got all these different card games listed in its little pamphlet that it comes with, and then also reading tarot. So it's a little bit different to a regular tarot. So it's Ace of Hearts, Two of Hearts, Three of Hearts, and so on. And then we've got clubs, diamonds, and spades. Yeah. So it's more based on sort of playing cards, essentially, regular playing cards. But each of the cards is also a tarot card, so you can read it like tarot. And I thought that was kind of cool. And also, the other cool thing about them is that they come in sort of a night and day set. So you've got 2 decks. So this is the dark version. So it's like navy and gold and white. And all the illustrations are really, really cool. I love the illustrations. And then this is the day cards. And so same color scheme, but instead of being quite dark, it's a lot lighter. So you get the day and the night. Yeah, really beautiful. I love the illustrations and I really want to try using them as playing cards. That would be really fun. And also having the tarot meanings behind it as well. I feel like it would make quite a beautiful, unique gift for someone if they're interested in playing cards as well as tarot. Yeah. Really quite pretty. Again, I love gold anything, so I'm a sucker for that. And I really want to play with these a little bit more. So there you go. That is the Illuminated playing cards, which are also tarot cards. Now for the last category, I only have one card deck to share. So these are the only affirmation cards that I own. They're the DreamyMoons affirmation cards by Annie Tarasova, and they are so beautiful. Woo! So beautiful, they just want to jump out at me. They come with a very simple little card that explains what affirmations are and how to use the cards. And then it's just straight into the cards themselves. I love the black and gold theme. By now you probably know that I'm obsessed with black and gold in general. And these are just beautiful. I love getting these out with my niece as well. She loves using them too. And we talk a little bit about what the card means. And they are just so pretty. I absolutely adore them. So I thought to end this video, it would be nice to draw one of these cards for us to take with us for the rest of our day. And they are just all so beautiful. You cannot go wrong, honestly. They're so pretty. So I'm going to give these a shuffle and draw one for us right now. Trying to shuffle around a tripod is always a bit awkward. And that's the one that jumped out at me. I go with the flow and feel my connection to the stream of life. Aw, beautiful. So that's just a nice little message to end the video on. I adore these cards, every single one of them. And these affirmation cards I use quite often as well. So that is officially all my card decks, all 20 of them. I really hope you enjoyed looking through them with me briefly. Like I said, if you really want to see any more about any of these, definitely let me know in the comments below, and you'll find more information and everything else over on today's blog post as well. I hope that this video was helpful if you're trying to pick a deck for yourself or a friend or family member. Note that I have so many decks because I use them for readings, and I love keeping each reading fresh and unique. For individual readings, I always draw multiple cards from various decks, and I also add a runestone or two and scattered charms as well. I could talk for so much longer about each of these decks, but no doubt this video is already really long. So if you do have any questions, or again, like I said earlier, if you want to see more about any deck in particular, definitely let me know in the comments below, or feel free to find me on Instagram as well. I tend to share a little bit more there as well throughout the week. My username's just @EbonyHighland. I'd love to see you over there as well. That would be brilliant. If you haven't already, I hope you'll consider subscribing and ring the little bell to be notified when I post a new video every Thursday. As always, all the links are in the description below, including to today's blog post with lots more info, resources and recommendations, as well as the form to sign up for my newsletter with the free weekly Charm Tarot readings that I spoke about earlier. I seriously love starting the week off by sharing a fun and insightful Charm Tarot reading with you all. And I'd love for you to be part of that if you're not already. Thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel. It really does mean the absolute world to me. I hope that you're having a wonderful day, and I can't wait to see you next week. Bye!